Hey everybody, welcome to the odd vlog, and we didn't do a review video for part 4 of Kenobi, but after part 5 I felt like I just kind of had to, because that episode was insanely good. It was pretty much everything I think that all the prequel fans had been hoping for, so spoiler alert, we're going to jump into it and go straight through into what happened in this episode. And straight off the bat, it's pretty early on, you get the flashback scenes that I think a lot of people had kind of wanted to see. So you see Anakin and Obi-Wan back, I would imagine, sort of towards the end of episode 2, when the Clone Wars have really kind of just started, and they're basically just training, and it's just showing you how Anakin is just so desperate to win all the time, and that's kind of his MO throughout then becoming Darth Vader, is that he's got this inability to believe that he can lose, and it's like winning is the most important thing, and that kind of helps Kenobi in this show, because he kind of knows what Anakin is going to do, based on the fact that he's just relentless and he won't ever give up on anything, and winning is so important to him. So it's a little flashback scene. It's really, really well done. Doesn't look like they've used any like de-aging technology on it, which I thought was kind of weird, but it's fine, it still works, and it looked really, really cool actually to sort of see them going at it and using those famous kind of lightsaber duel techniques that they had particularly in episode 3, where it's very flashy. It's actually very unrealistic. You wouldn't ever do that for real, but it looks great on camera, and obviously it's the complete polar opposite to when they had their little encounter in part 3 of the series, where, you know, it just wasn't an even contest. So it sort of sets up really what's going to happen in part 6, in having this big finale, and are we going to have another showdown between the two of them that's going to be more akin to the lightsaber battles that they've had in those sequels, where it would have been really intense, and yeah, very kind of episode 3-esque, and a much more even contest between the two of them. But I think the biggest thing about this particular episode, part 5 of the show, is just seeing Vader at his full powers. Really, you just sort of see him peak Vader, dragging down a ship with the Force really easily, and like tearing the walls off like it was nothing, and it's so good to see, because it really, again, it's all the contrast that you get when you have like Rey and Kylo in the sequels, where they're trying to pull down a ship and they're kind of fighting over it between the two of them. They are really struggling just to hold on to it, and similarly you also get Ahsoka doing that in the Clone Wars as well, where she's trying to pull back a ship, and it's not easy. It's really hard. They really struggle, and these are all really like high level Force wielders, but they're not able to do it as easily as Vader is, and that's why he's the chosen one. He's so much more powerful than everyone else, and it's the only time you've ever really, I think, seen that on screen. So it was amazing to actually get that scene with him just pulling down that ship like it was nothing, and just tearing it to shreds and ripping the walls off. I kind of was a bit confused as to why, if he could do that with one ship, he wasn't then able just to do it immediately with the second one that then flew off with everyone making their great escape. But, you know, I digress. It's still such a good episode that I can kind of let go of that a little bit. The other thing as well is that we finally get the kind of backstory and more of an explanation to the character of Reva, or Reva, I still don't know which way you're supposed to say it, and the fact that she was a youngling, and, you know, Anakin had turned up after Order 66 trying to kill them all. She obviously somehow survived. I think that she got stabbed with a lightsaber by Anakin after Order 66, but somehow didn't die of her injuries. That's how it looked to me. And then, funnily enough, you know, Kenobi kind of gets the truth out of her at one point by her confessing that her intention the entire time is to take down Vader and get revenge on Anakin, really, and that's how she knows that Anakin is Vader. No one else does, and everyone was being so critical, like, oh, how does she know? She's not supposed to know. She does know, and that's how. If you actually watch the whole series rather than just judging on a single part, then you'll actually get this information rather than criticising it for not knowing these things yet. And we've still got another part to go. So this series, I think, is starting to really come good. The last episode was a little bit of a filler one. There are some really dodgy things in this series, I have to say, that don't kind of work and don't look great. They are questionable. But on the whole, I think it's really good, and is actually really starting to now come together and build up to what is hopefully going to be a huge season finale coming up next week, with part 6. So really hyped for that. I think it's going to be quite a long episode as well, I hope, just so that we can get, you know, as much content and action in this as possible. So yeah, part 5, it just blew me away. It was so cool. We also kind of got to see a lot of the other kind of characters coming out. The fake Jedi from one of the earlier episodes appeared again, and there's just like this really cool confrontation in this part where they're obviously like they're hiding out in their little base, and then the Empire arrives, and there's like all these stormtroopers, and it's just it reminded me a lot of Empire Strikes Back. You know, the Empire just turn up, everyone is trying to escape, trying to defend themselves, trying to put up fortifications against them. It's just very akin to what's happening on Hoth in Empire Strikes Back. Just reminded me of that, and just seeing all the stormtroopers turning up was just really cool. So I loved the episode. You know, you got peak Vader, you got him being so powerful and so cool. Kenobi, I still felt was really not like the main character in this. I think Vader stole the show, really, to be honest. And again, you kind of got a lot of story for Reva, but if she survives, because when the episode finishes, you kind of see her being stabbed again by Vader, and then being left by her and the Grand Inquisitor, who is also still alive. He survived. I don't know why they've left her there. Like, they had every opportunity to literally kill her and just leave her with a wound. Maybe she'd die, maybe she wouldn't. But I don't get that. Like, the Grand Inquisitor just says, "Oh, we're just going to leave you in the dirt where we found you." And I kind of think, if you make an enemy of someone like that, wouldn't it be easier just to kill them straight away? So, you know, those were the two things that I kind of question about with this episode. Why, if Vader can pull down one ship, he couldn't pull down the second? And why did he and the Grand Inquisitor leave Reva alive? It just seemed really strange to me. But they did, and that's the end of that. The Grand Inquisitor obviously is still alive, and again, people were being really critical about, well, he's dead now, so they've broken canon because it means he can't now appear in Rebels. Like, no, you don't actually see him die. You just see him get stabbed, and he's obviously going to come back. I think even the people that made the show said that he was going to come back and that they wouldn't break canon like that. So again, you know, people just need to give this a chance and actually watch the whole thing, because if people had been patient and waited for this episode to come out, a lot of the people that had complaints after like parts 2 and 3, all they had to do was wait, and they would have had all of these questions answered, and seen these really epic scenes that so many people wanted. So I love this show. I think it's really good. It does have flaws. It's not perfect, but there are, to counter that, there's still some really amazing and epic moments. I'm going to assume that Reva is going to survive, and she now knows that Luke is on Tatooine. She's sort of accidentally picked up a recording saying that that's where he is, and don't know whether or not in part 6 she's going to go after him or try and help him. Really not sure yet whether she's going to be like someone who comes good, or whether she's going to stay being like this kind of bad character. I'm not really sure. I think if she does get a spin-off show, it would be really cool if she actually explored like a dark Jedi storyline or a grey storyline, because she's obviously not entirely light, and at the same time I don't think she's entirely dark side either. She's sort of somewhere in the middle. So it would allow them to start opening up this story of grey Jedi or dark Jedi, which we've not really seen in live action. I can't even recall that we've seen it in a series. The only time I can remember it is a character from the High Republic who was a grey, or a Wayseeker, I think as they called them in that. So it would be good to kind of explore that. We've not really had that in the shows. Only a couple of things in the books, so it'd be good to kind of have that, I think, and that would be something really unique for her character to be able to go on and do if she does indeed get a spin-off series, which I think some people would be interested to see. I'm sure there'll probably be plenty of people that complain about it, but I'd love it. You know, I always want more Star Wars, so I hope that happens. So there we go. So yeah, part 5 was really cool. I loved it. So many amazing and epic scenes in that. The flashbacks, the Vader scene, Reva's backstory, the whole lot. Cannot wait for the finale next week, and fingers crossed that it's going to deliver and that it's going to be good. We shall see. And with that said, we're all done. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment, and with that said, I'll see you guys in the next episode.